Okay, to help you understand some of the things you read in the book, I'm going to show you some pictures taken from this website, history.com. Interesting place if you want to learn more about history. I'm going to show you the pictures and say a few things to it so you can perhaps more easily remember and understand the things you read. Here are some pictures. The first one is from Africa. It's a monument trying to remember that the slaves, were taken from Africa. Here's another piece. This is from Tanzania. You can see the slaves being chained together. And of course, as a tourist today, you can come to different places in Africa and see some of the buildings that they used when they captured the slaves. And this is a picture showing, here we have a slave ship sailing to America and a lot of people being thrown overboard. The trip there was horrible, it was terrible. And here we have another way of showing how closely the slaves were linked or chained together on board the ship. And here we can see what happened when they came to America. Here's an auction for Negroes where they are sold. You can go into this store and buy slaves just like you would buy a loaf of bread or a steak. And here we can see what goes on inside. Here we have the auction taking place. The guy selling the slaves. This is a family perhaps being sold at this auction. And we can move on. Here we see an advertisement calling to attention that now new slaves are coming to this place. And a few more pictures, because just to get an impression of what it was like to be a slave, you can see they lived in these kind of houses. It's called a shack, a tin-sided builded house where slaves could live. And here we have, the house of the slave master, very fancy and very posh house. Here's a picture from inside the slave house. Not much to show, just a place, 2 chairs and a place to bunk for the night. So terrible conditions for the slaves. Here we have them standing outside a house, ready to work. And here's an excellent photo today from a cotton field. All these white plants, that is cotton, ready to be harvested. And this is how they did it those days without machinery. Children, adults, all slaves picking cotton into these barrels and then selling the cotton throughout the world. And if we move on, we can see this is a newspaper saying that, we have slaves to be sold, just like a normal thing. And of course, if the slaves did not behave, they could be punished in different ways. And this is one way of punishing a slave. Now, finally, a few pictures about the battle of slavery, the battle that took place within America. Here we have the free states, and they were without slaves. Here we have slave states, you can see. And of course, if you were a slave, you could try to run, to escape from your state and run into a free state. The rest of the territory, they are open to slavery. They could decide themselves whether they wanted to be slave states or free states. Anyway, they could decide that in the beginning. In the beginning, there was a balance between the free states and the slave states. Here's a runaway slave, and you have a reward, $100 reward if someone took him back. And some people made a living from that, capturing runaway slaves. Some people also tried to help them. Here we have a hiding place, part of the Underground Railroad, they called it, houses along the road where you could hide. This is what it looks like, but behind it there's a secret place where several slaves could hide for the night before they moved on. And this woman here, Harriet Tubman, she is an escaping slave herself, and she tried to help other slaves using the Underground Railroad, a secret network of safe houses, so they could move from house to house. And of course, people were angry that some people helped the other slaves to freedom because it was, they considered it to be their property. They owned the slaves. It was like stealing a horse or stealing a cow or something like that. Now, having watched these pictures, you can study more if you want to. I would like you, if you have time, just to scroll down on this page. You can find the page, see, it says history.com, topic slavery. Down here is an excellent video, and I think you should watch this American Divided video. It's only a 3-minute and 50-second thing, but it will help you understand what caused the Civil War, how the Civil War started as part of this for or against slavery. So watch it, find it, and use it as a preparation and a way of perhaps more easily remembering what you have read. See you tomorrow.